Hey guys, welcome to this late but review of Real Housewives of Potomac. Wow! So the episode starts off with the ladies all meeting at the main house, right? I guess they're gonna go swimming or do some nonsense of some sort. So they're having breakfast, and of course Giselle and Robyn, I don't know, they're so weird. They have to excuse themselves from the table and be like, "We have a business meeting." For what? For your podcast? I don't know. It just looks so silly, but I guess they couldn't come up with a legit excuse for them to have a private conversation. I was totally expecting them to start talking about Wendy and her outfit, like, "Oh my gosh, did you see Wendy's swimsuit?" I saw Wendy's swimsuit and it looks good. She looks good. She does. And, you know, the swimsuit is a beautiful color. Is the cut a little high? You know, at the bottom, yeah, but she looks good, right? But of course, thankfully, Giselle and Robyn were not talking about Wendy and her swimming suit, at least at that point. Giselle wanted to talk about Robyn and basically her depression. And here's the thing with this storyline, if I'm going to be really honest, it is coming off a little bit fake to me. Not to say Robyn doesn't have these issues, but I don't know. The scene we saw about with her in the bed and her having to wake up the kids, I don't know. That scene was so fake that it just threw me off her entire storyline, and I don't know if I really am believing this, but whatever. We're just gonna pretend we're stupid and we're gonna believe this is a legit story, right? Basically, you know, I don't know. Would I want Giselle as a friend? Probably not. No, I would not. Right? Because clearly Giselle is going through something, and I feel like all Giselle wants to talk about is her business and her man. You know, she's like, "You have a fine man, and that's not good if he finds you unattractive. Oh no." And it's like, okay, I can understand why that is an issue, but there's deeper things going on here. Why not ask your friend, "Hey, you know, what's going on with you emotionally, right? Why are you holding yourself back, right? Not everything is about make a gazillion dollars, have the finest man, and make babies." It's like it's so surface. And I don't know. I wish Giselle, if Giselle is a good friend like that, would have took the time to really get to know what's going on with her on a deeper level. I know Giselle, maybe she means well. She thinks she's encouraging and motivating her, right? But it just comes off as judgmental. And if it was like Robyn didn't know how to kind of get her business together, maybe if the problem was a little bit more tangible and you needed someone to help you with something directly, I think Giselle would definitely be your girl. But when you need someone to kind of have empathy and connect with you on an emotional level, Giselle is just not that girl. She's very superficial. She really is. Like I said, if you need something done, she's probably great to have on your team, but emotional support, hell no. Hell no. So Ashley arrives to the house. You know, she's back to her messy self now that she's given birth to her baby. She's no longer Mother Teresa. She's her usual messy Ashley self, right? And she's here to start the mess. I saw the previews. I know she's here to start the mess. First off, let me say, her eating her placenta, I know people do that, but yuck! Gross! When they showed clips of that, it's like chopped liver. It was just so like, gross. I mean, I guess it's not gross. Is it me? Am I being a little bit immature? I know it's, no, I'm not being immature. That's kind of gross, right? But if she wants to do it, she can do it. That's her money. That's her foolishness. Ew, right? Even the producer was like, no, ew, gross. But whatever. I don't judge you, Ashley, but yuck. Moving on. So basically, See, this is why I do not trust Karen. Karen wants to come off as that motherly figure, like she's so concerned. But I know it's full of crap. I see you, Karen. I know you're full of crap. Because, of course, Karen is telling Ashley, because Ashley asked, so what have you guys been doing? And of course, Karen is relaying the story. Oh my God, Giselle was so horrible. She was a monster. She annihilated everybody at the table. Running her little narrative. But she didn't exactly lie. I'll give her that. She did not lie. But then she goes and tells Ashley, messy Ashley, who's BFF with Giselle, right? She goes and tells her that what's her name? Wendy. Wendy was crying in her arms. Wendy was so upset, right? But then Karen, when she was with Wendy, she fixed her mouth to be like, don't let these other ladies see you cry. Don't let them do that. But then you go behind her back and you tell the messiest person in the group that she was crying. So it's like, what's the point of hiding it? Wendy might as well have just cried in front of the whole group. She might as well have been like, oh my gosh, Giselle, you really hurt me when you did that, when you said that. And you know what? All the ladies would have gathered around her and be like, oh my gosh, Wendy. Don't listen to Karen about, oh, keep it to yourself. Don't let anybody know you're upset. And then the lady goes behind her back and tells everybody. So what was the point of telling her to keep it to herself and not to cry in front of the group? And you go and tell Ashley. And it's not like Wendy and Ashley are best buds, right? They've had their beef. So, Karen, this is why I don't trust you. Still great for the show. But, that's that Karen. So, Ashley now is like interested. Oh, okay, let me get the dirt. Let me get what's really going on. So she goes and she talks to Giselle, right? And basically, of course, Ashley tells her what Karen said and about Wendy crying. And Giselle's like, well, I didn't mean to make her cry. That's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to tell her how I felt, that there was a change in her personality. And Ashley noticed that change as well, because last season she was very much all about her 4 degrees, and now she's not. I think, like I said with Wendy, I think she's just like anybody else going through life, and she's changing and she's figuring herself out. Right? I think it's normal for people that go on the show by the 2nd season. They get a lot of plastic surgery. They get a stylist. They change up their look. I think that's what Wendy's doing. Let's be real. The audience really didn't take to her, I got 4 degrees. The audience weren't really taking that in. So maybe she's recognizing that and she's trying to, be more of herself, right? And it's really hard for me to say who Wendy is or isn't, because we don't really know her. But I can definitely understand if you've been talking to this person, if you've been getting to know this person, and you feel like their personality has changed. Do you have the right to talk to them and address it? I think you do, right? Maybe. You don't really have a right, but if you do address it, I don't think you're a bad guy. But where I think Robyn, Ashley, and Giselle are effing up is that they're trying to tie Wendy's change to her husband allegedly cheating on her, or the rumors being out that her husband is allegedly cheating on her. Right? Which is kind of just stupid. It's kind of low-key stupid to me, right? Because it's like, you guys are part of this game. I guess they can't break the 4th wall too much, so they have to tie it to Wendy's husband. But I think it's more so of her being on television. Maybe that's where the shift is coming from. So I think them kind of pointing out the changing her is just a way to bring out this rumor, because you know what, it's entertaining. We as the audience wants to know what's going on, so they're effing with her. They really are. And I don't get the vibe that they really care about her, right? It's not like a true friend that's like, wow, I've noticed you've changed, is everything okay? It's just more so like, we know this is gonna be good drama, so let's run with it. So all the ladies, they go for lunch, right? They're all forever, eternally going to some lunch. They're going to breakfast. They're going to dinner. They're going to lunch, guys, right? And of course, this is the opportune time to, well, messy Ashley, right? She's doing her job to bring up, hey, you know, I heard there was a lot of problems last night when you guys met up. Wendy, you were really upset. You were crying to Karen. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was kind of taken aback by Wendy sort of being like, me and Karen, we shared a moment. I poured my soul into her and and they were reaching out for each other. It's just so odd, because last season they were in an entirely different place, right? Like, Karen really didn't want Wendy there, and now they're like so bonded, which is fine. But I guess as an audience member, we didn't really get to see Wendy and Karen build that genuine sort of relationship. It just sort of happened all of a sudden. Now, of course, they must have hung out and spoken to each other off camera, and maybe they found out that they get along. But I just don't know. I feel like with Karen is strategic and she's gonna do what she's gotta do. I'm not really buying this connection, because if it was me and Ashley is telling the group that I broke down and cried, right, to Karen, I would feel some type of way, because it's like we shared a quote-unquote private moment, and you're telling Ashley, of all people. I would have respected Karen a little bit more if she just told the entire group, right, at that lunch, like, well, Giselle, I don't think you were right, because so-and-so broke down to me, and blah, blah, blah. That would be more of a friend, because I would feel like, okay, she's trying to defend Wendy, she's standing up for her. But like telling Ashley, that just tells me you don't have Wendy's best interest in mind. You, of course, are doing your job and you're stirring up the mess. But whatever, if Wendy wants to go along with it, that's up to Wendy. And Giselle was right. I gotta give Giselle credit that Wendy is playing the mommy dearest. Wendy and Karen are reacting this mommy dearest thing, right? Where Candace and Karen did it before. Because you remember, right? When it was, what, I believe Candace's anniversary, she called out Karen, like, I would like to thank my mother, and I would like to thank Karen, the two most important women in my life. Like, are you kidding me? You just met Karen, yet she's the most important woman in your life? Well, that backfired, right? I can totally see that happening with Wendy and Karen. I believe I said it before. I think Karen enjoys and gets off of being the mother figure, the grand dame, but like, I think when it comes to her actions, when it comes to her behavior, she's not really looking out for you like that. She wants to appear like she is, but I don't think she really got your back like that. Which is fine, because like, why should she have your back, really? I mean, at the end of the day, every woman for themselves, right? So if they want to have an alliance, they can have that. Giselle and Robyn and Ashley, when it comes to Wendy, like I said, it's not totally unreasonable or crazy to me for you, if you're someone's friend, right? And you've noticed that they've changed dramatically, right? I totally understand where you're gonna have a moment and you're gonna be like, you know, yo, I've noticed this change, right? Now, I wouldn't say that she has no substance now. That's a little bit much, right? But I would comment on it. But once you kind of get the feedback from the person and they're like, well, this is what I'm doing now, I feel good, I'm happy to be in this space, then it comes to a certain point where you just have to accept it and move on. It's her life, it's her body. If she wants to wear that, you may not like it, but that's her body. If she wants to do that, she wants to do that. After you made your comment and she is okay with how she feels and that's what she wants to do, what are you gonna do? You guys can't keep bullying her into submission, right? It's a little bit odd to me at this point. And they're not even coming at her like I said before, right? When Giselle was talking to Robyn, she's not coming to her at an emotional space, right? Whereas like, okay, let me try to really get to understand you and where you're at emotionally. She's just coming from a judgmental point. So when someone's coming to you like you're doing something wrong and they want to pick apart every little thing that you do, then of course you don't want to open up to them and really tell them what's going on in your life, right? Because you feel like they're going to use that and turn it against you. So, not to say there's an issue with Wendy or anything like that, but at the end of the day, you just got to respect how someone feels. And it was just weird when at the end of the lunch, right? Ashley and Giselle, they have their little conversation and Ashley's like, well, I think I need to talk to her one-on-one. It's not working out in the group. And it's like, hello, Wendy kind of just told you she's happy with what she's doing. Why do you need to keep continuing this conversation? Clearly she's not going to change and she doesn't want to change, right? But of course, I'm not gonna lie, as an audience member, I do kind of want to hear Wendy's response when it comes to what's going on in their marriage. Is it true? Is it false? Now, I think the tea came from All About the Tea, the avatar, like people, I can't talk, or I'm not gonna say anything. You know what? She's giving avatars a bad name, okay? Not everybody wants to show their face, at least not right away. So, moving on. But given everything that's sort of come out about her, if this tea came from her, to be honest, I'm not really believing this. I think also Cheryl's World, Perry or something, kind of brought this information out. And no offense, I love them. They're funny. I enjoy Gabor and everything like that. But they are not known for having the most accurate tea, if I'm going to be real, right? It's kind of a hit or a miss with a lot of these YouTube gossip bloggers, and I know that watching it, right? I don't take it super seriously until I see legit proof. So it's just more of an entertainment, but I guess, that's kind of messed up because for Wendy, it's not just entertainment, it's actually, serious. But I don't know, I'm not really believing this, but like I said before, a man cheating, would I be shocked? No, I'm not going to be shocked about that, but there's not enough information for me to believe that. But like I said, the blogs have been talking about it, so I know that they have to bring it to the show. They have to. And Ashley and Giselle and Robyn, I feel like they're just using Wendy's change in her physical appearance as an excuse to kind of bring it up at the end of the day. They're just doing their job. That's how I feel. It's not really like a genuine concern. So, what are they doing? They're doing some next random activity, whiskey tasting, right? Robyn is having a good time. She's chugging those whiskey. I know whiskey is strong, but it's like there's just a teeny weeny little bit in those glasses, so it's not like, I don't think she was chugging that much. It's a girls' trip. She was having a good time. She didn't do anything too crazy, so go Robyn, woohoo. But of course, messy Ashley, she does take this time to, confront Wendy and say, yo, we know that in the blogs they say allegedly your husband is cheating on you. How do you feel about that? And Wendy's not having it at all. She's not. And she comes back to the group and she reads Giselle down. She like, and I mean, she didn't do anything unique. Of course, you want to read Giselle. What do? You talk about Jamal. Oh my God, Jamal cheated on you 100 times. You're such a loser. Like, that's the go-to sort of insult. But I mean, it's so just at the end of the day when it comes to Giselle. I'm sorry, it is just because Giselle has the most to say about everybody and their relationship. She really does. When out of everybody, let's be real, she has the most juiciest drama-filled relationships, right? You were married to a guy that cheated on you with multiple women, that had outside babies, right? Like, he's the worst of the worst, right? He's right up there. Okay, I wasn't gonna say who he was right up there with, but he's up there somewhere, okay? In the list of the trashiest husbands, he's there, right? We get it. We get it. You want to comfort Giselle, you go there. It's a bit tired, but you know, it can never truly get tired because, like I said, Giselle comes for everybody in the relationship. She's very opinionated and she has a lot to say, right? But what I will give Giselle in her defense, she really knows how to keep her cool. Like, even last reunion when she was being annihilated, right? She sat there very calmly. Now, you could tell that she was embarrassed, but she wasn't gonna let you see her sweat. And the same thing with Wendy. When Wendy was cussing her out, she was just leaning back on the couch. She had her feet up. She was like looking at Wendy like she was a psychopath. Like, what's wrong with this girl? Why is she losing her mind? I don't understand. I don't get it. And I don't know, like, when people do that, isn't that infuriating? Like, people poke your buttons and they do things to make you snap, and then when you go off, they're acting like you're crazy. Like, what's their problem, right? Why are they making such a huge deal? Giselle is that person, right? She definitely knows how to keep herself together. So I mean, I guess if you're gonna be that person, then you can't go crying when they do it back to you. Right? Giselle will just act like you're crazy. I mean, I don't know. Like, at this point, I don't think Giselle is that stupid. I know that people have different personalities. But you know when you're pushing buttons. You know when you're doing a little too much. And clearly you're doing that because you're the producer's pet. So you're gonna bring up what needs to be brought up. And that's why she is good for the show. But in real life, she would be a terrible person. You would not be friends with this person, right? Even when Wendy told her that, hey, I cried because you hurt my feelings. Like, if I said something to someone, right? Even if I didn't mean it in a bad way, right? And they told me that they cried because of what I said to them, especially when it's none of my damn business what they're wearing, to be honest with you. But if they said that they cried, I would be like, oh my gosh, I am sorry that you had that reaction. I was only trying to da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm sorry, right? But Giselle acts like, she gaslights her and acts like she's crazy to feel some sort of way when someone that you thought was your friend, that you maybe even looked up to, tells you you have no substance. That's really, really harsh. And Giselle can't even recognize how she's coming across. And I just don't think she's that oblivious, right? I don't think she walks around the world not knowing that she's an asshole. Like, at this point, you kind of have to know. You're doing this on purpose. So when people come for you, I mean, she gets no sympathy or empathy from me. She doesn't. But like I said, she knows how to handle herself well. She knows she's not getting any empathy from the audience, right? So she knows to hold herself together. And moving on, was Ashley wrong for what she did? In real life, unpopular opinion, alright? in real life, yeah, she would be wrong, I guess. But even in real life, you would have had that conversation like, yo, you know, you're in the blogs. They're saying that your husband is cheating on you. What's going on with that? Even in real life, you would have that conversation, right? So I don't know, because when Candace actually approached Ashley when Ashley was leaving, right? And she was cussing Ashley out like, why did you bring it up? You're being messy, right? And that is true, but I feel like Candace, you're being a teeny weeny bit a hypocrite, because I remember, I believe it was last season, you got rumors or you got text that Michael was cheating on Ashley. Like, you were sent the picture of Michael with another woman, or Michael kind of half naked in a hotel room, and you're the one who brought that to the group. And then, well, you brought that to Giselle first, right, bringing it on camera, and then eventually you sat down with Giselle and you spoke to Ashley about it. And the ironic thing about it is that I remember that it was Monique's group trip, right, to, I guess, one of her houses, one of her 4 houses, right? And I remember Monique getting pissed off with Candace, right, for bringing this sort of information and starting drama. I think it was more so that Monique wasn't included in the drama, but whatever, we're just gonna say that she got upset for them having this side conversation, right? And then Candace comes to Ashley and wants to cuss her out, but you're being a hypocrite. You have brought stuff on camera. They all have brought stuff on camera. And that's why I say, okay, maybe in a real life alternative universe, you would be wrong. But I don't know. I feel like, and they could all just be acting, but at the end of the day, if you're on this show and certain details about your life makes the blog, especially if they're like really scandalous, you kind of have to expect the ladies to talk about it. And I'm gonna be honest, an unpopular opinion, I think that considering who we're talking about, Giselle, right, and we're talking about Ashley, they brought up this information as delicately as they could. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if producers are kind of egging them on to bring this onto the show. Like, of course, if I was a producer, hell yeah, I would be telling one of the ladies to say something. Like, are you kidding me? So I feel like they brought it on as delicately as they could. They kept saying over and over again, this is not true. This is definitely not true. We don't believe this. We don't believe this. But they have to bring it up. But I do understand that Wendy is not seeing these conversations, and Wendy is fairly new to the show and fairly new to the game. So, I mean, yeah, in real life, I could totally understand Wendy just being really upset and really turned off. But I think if you're being a little bit more strategic, right, it would have just been better for Wendy to be like, yeah, I know it's a bunch of nonsense, it's so stupid, and dismiss it and sort of let it go. But the way she sort of went off, she's entitled to have her reaction, right? I'm not gonna say you need to do this or need to do that, but of course reacting like that just sort of prolongs the storyline. Where if you would have just dismissed it and say it's just nonsense and kind of just told Giselle to shut up, the conversation would have ended a lot quicker at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I mean, Giselle deserved to get rid. She does, because like I said, she's not bringing this thing up with Wendy because she genuinely cares about Wendy, or they have some genuine friendship. They don't. She's doing this for the show. So if you're doing this for the show, then Wendy's got to put on a show back, and I guess that's what they're doing. This was a good episode. Oh, one quick thing. Mia, I kind of skipped over her for the lunch, right? When she's trying to tell Wendy about how she dresses, and Wendy's like, well, I didn't judge you when you were a stripper. And then she's like, I wasn't a stripper, I was an entertainer. And it's like, okay, fine, you weren't a stripper, fine. But you wore revealing clothes at the end of the day around other men. I mean, that was the point at the end of the day. And I guess Mia's point is that I did that for a job. You're just wearing revealing clothes for no reason around us. And da 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 da. And at the end of the day, like I said, you can have your opinion. But I don't like it when the ladies are super judgmental about Mia and her big feet. Like, come on, Candace. That's petty of you. But she did throw salad at her, so I can understand why maybe Candace has a little bit of a beef with her. But I don't like it when the other ladies are super judgmental about, strippers and stuff of that nature. Maybe because I'm sort of desensitized. I watch a lot of reality television. You see different types of characters. So, I don't know. It's not that shocking that, oh my gosh, someone is a stripper. So, I can understand that I'm a little bit biased and that maybe in a group like that, you would be a little bit like taken aback. But I don't know. When you look at Ashley and her history, when you look at Giselle and her history, it's just like you guys just don't really have much space to really talk at the end of the day, especially Ashley. So it is off-putting when they're judgmental of her. But Wendy, girl, you're doing the same exact thing, right? You're being judgmental on Wendy. And I guess, and I don't know, they're all just being judgmental of each other. They all have this idea of who they think the other should be, and they're projecting that onto each other, and it's just like, it's a mess. And Mia, you look silly. But what I do like Mia, now some people may say this is Mia flip-flopping and all over the place, but I actually found Mia refreshing near the end of the episode, right, in the group, because I just felt like some people may say it's flip-floppy, but I feel like Mia, I like to see people who don't really take any sides and they have their own opinion. Like in a same argument, you can agree with Wendy and say, well, Wendy is making good points, right? But at the same time, you can look at Giselle and be like, well, Giselle is making good points and Ashley is making good points, and you can call them out all out because you have no true loyalty to anybody. And at the end of the day, you're just going to give what your opinion is and what you think is right. Which I enjoy that, right? And that's part of the reason why I do enjoy Real Housewives of Potomac. Because Beverly Hills, I'm going to bring them up, they're the exact opposite. It's like classic groupthink, right? Where everybody gangs up on one person, or everybody is afraid to speak their mind against Erica. And I don't know, it just makes for a very dull scene when you have everybody on the same page. So I appreciate a Mia. I appreciate a Giselle, right? I appreciate a Candace. I appreciate these ladies that, yeah, we may not always agree with them, but I feel like they're bold and confident enough to say how they feel and to say how they mean, and they don't need everybody in the group to back them up, to say what they have to say, unlike Beverly Hills. And that's what makes it an entertaining show, right? Like, can you imagine the Erica Jane storyline was going on in Potomac? Like, how much more juicier and interesting it would have been? How much tea we would have got spilled at this point, right? But because Beverly Hills, they're a bunch of butt kissers, right? And they're terrified of Erica. We're not, even though, yes, we have something interesting going on, I feel like we're not really getting as much as we could be getting out of it. But at any point, I mean, let's wrapping it up. Was Ashley wrong? I don't know. I feel like Ashley is just doing what her job is. It's been done to Ashley several times, right? Like, the blogs have talked about Michael, and it's been brought out. It has been brought out about Robyn. It has been brought out about Giselle, about Karen. Like, all of them have had to deal with the blogs. And Wendy, this is just your turn to deal with it. It is what it is. Overall, this was a good episode. Looking forward to the next episode. See you guys.